Alright, what's going on guys, it's Rest, and I'm coming at you with another reaction. I know, crazy, but so much stuff is launching. We just got the Destiny launch trailer, now we got the Arms Race reveal, and I'm super excited about this one. So let's get right into it.
And new Arms Race.
Here we go. It's time, boys. Let's see what we got. So excited. Got a trailer.
Let the blood sport begin!
Okay. Alright, there's chest.
Lock, load, and loot. It's time for
But you
an arms
actually
race.
drop in. What? Okay. Extract your loot. Is this like the Dark Zone from Division? Interesting. Or
Graham
Tarkov.
Timmons, you're a brave man coming back to the Borderlands show. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back.
That seems interesting.
I'm glad
All
to
right.
have you back. Now, believe it or not, I've looked at the views
Learn
of the
some more.
Borderlands show, and it turns out that not every human being has watched every episode. So before we get to Arms Race, which sounds amazing, and holy shit, do I want to know more? Describe to everybody what you do on Borderlands?
Well, I'm the creative director for Borderlands 3 since its launch. So everything that's happened post its official release back last year, I've been kind of stewarding and guiding the game forward.
So a real quiet year for you.
No, we've every week is another week, and we've been constantly turning out stuff this whole year. But it's been a great year, and I think the game is in the best place it's ever been. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think that's true. Obviously, Mitsu and Fran and I talk about it all the time. But then on top of that, as we look forward for what you guys are bringing in this DLC, I think you see that as well and what's coming even into the future, right? So let's talk about Arms Race. I think I've got my head wrapped around it. Standalone mode, not attached to the story. It's a game show, and you start with nothing.
A game show.
Those are all correct statements.
A game show.
So this is a brand new mode. It will be out November 10th. This new game mode basically is commentated by Axton and Salvador. They will be guiding you through this new piece of content.
I thought I heard
And
Salvador.
you basically will be grinding through the Borderlands loot loop in like 25 minute sections on an all new environment back on Pandora.
Where does the idea for this start?
Okay, well, it started several months ago, obviously, actually right before we started working from home. My buddy Jason Reese, who was the lead level designer Borderlands 2, and I were talking about what content we want to work on next. He was also the level designer on the Revenge of the Cartels level. We started going back and forth, and I kind of had this idea in my head of taking these elements of like a battle royale and a roguelike game and how we could capture that same vibe in a Borderlands map. And we went back and forth, and we kind of created this new game mode that we're calling Arms Race.
What do you want players to sort of feel or get a sense of the most when they step into Arms Race?
So Arms Race real goal is care about the gunplay, care about the combat, and care about the gear. My thing is combat. I've said it before. I love combat in our game. I could shoot enemies endlessly. And what's great about this game mode is it lets those elements shine, where you get to care about all your gear. So when you jump into this map, you're going to lose your existing gear. It's going to be saved, but you're not going to have it with you. You're not going to have your skills, and you're not going to have your guardian ranks. So it's going to be literally what you have and what you find in the level as you search out new loot.
What are the rewards for finishing it, right? I can't imagine I end it and I'm just like, well, it was the job well done. That was the reward.
Right. So the goal here is there's over 20 pieces of gear that you're going to be able to find in this new game mode. And this is where you'll also be finding the class mods for the new skill trees.
Hey, there are new class mods. Let's go.
With this content, you're going to go in there and you're going to be searching out all this loot. And when you find it, this roguelike element happens that if you die, you're going to lose it.
What do you
However, there are
what do
going to
you
be
items, bro?
randomized extractors around the map that you can go and deposit your gear to, and it'll get sent back to your bank on Sanctuary 3. So anything that you find in this game mode, you're going to get to use back on any other piece of the content. So there's a little risk reward. That roguelike element too
Dude.
is if you're playing in co-op,
This
there
is-
also are respawn
this is
stations,
kinda like
one-time
the
respawn
Dark Zone, bro.
stations that your buddies in co-op can respawn you in, and you can keep going into the mode.
Is there
I think
the
that's what it was called.
capability
I can't
for
even
you
remember.
to retain what you have extracted even if you lose, or do you have to win in order for an extraction to be complete?
And as soon as you get to an extractor, when you hit extract, it's extracted. So, as you play through this game mode, there is a boss at the end, and he also will drop gear, and he's pumped up. So what the whole goal is, you want to explore and level up your gear. So when you spawn into the map, there's always a white chest right where you spawn in or drop in, and you'll have common level weapons. And so what's great about this is you're going to be searching out like, oh, this green dropped from this badass I killed, or I found this red chest randomly.
Dude, I actually really like
an
this.
airdrop, and they
What?
drop in stuff and enemies around that. And so you're constantly going through that loot loop like every second. So now
This
you care about
actually
greens, you care
seems
about
really
blues, you care
cool.
about purples. And when you get a legendary, you're like, oh my god, this is fantastic. And then you want to go to the boss, and if you beat the
I did
boss, he's
2
got
damage.
the
I don't know what level
5-piece
it was.
extractor. So there's some risk and reward about like, when am I ready to gear up and get up my stuff, or do I just run the extractor game early and not worry about the boss? There's a lot of player agency here.
How tough is this mode going to be?
It's that roguelike element there of if you die, you could potentially lose your progress. So that's there. However, it's not like a takedown.
Okay.
I'd say it's a step above the base
Okay.
game because you're not going to have your skills. Your skills in the base game
Dude,
can really be almost like
So it's literally just guns.
catch all for like, oh, I'm about to die. I can use some power really quick, and then
Sure.
I'll
Oh,
be fine.
okay.
Since you don't have that, the difficulty is a little higher, but it's not to the level of a takedown. We want to make sure what's great about this game mode is it levels the playing field because everyone's coming in here with just their character. Even you could be playing with someone who's got 600 hours in on Zane, and someone who literally just got to the end game.
Dude,
And
this is
you're going to come in and have the exact same experience.
I like this.
regardless of the skills that you've unlocked in your build. So it's a great way
I
to
wanna
just
play
jump
this.
in with anyone in co-op and experience that loot loop on repeat.
Yeah, that's a great idea, right? Because I think, for someone that made the wrong choice, somebody like Fran, who's going to come join me on PlayStation 5 now, the fact that he can just start it up and jump right in with me, we can do something and both feel rewarded. That's great.
Yeah, and it's not just the new loot that you can extract, is any piece of loot. So you could be playing this, early in the game, just like any other piece of DLC. You'll find the discovery mission on Sanctuary when you get there the first time. So theoretically, you could go there and you could find a great purple that you want to continue to use as you go out through the rest of the game. So you could take that to an extractor and extract it. So there's
Okay.
a lot of
So
opportunity.
it's like in the
here
game. It's
to
not its own separate game.
improve
mode.
your character's gear game at any point in the game.
Will you still be leveling up while you're doing this, or will it freeze your leveling bar
Good
just
question.
for while you're playing arms race?
You'll continue to level up, and you'll
Okay.
get experience points, and you'll continue to get those all, as you play through the
Just
mode,
can't
just like
use 'em.
any other thing. But if you like level up here, you don't have access to your skills
Yeah.
tree, so you're not going to be able to use your skill point until you return to Sanctuary 3 or to another level.
Sure.
So is your level sort of neutralized though in this mode?
So it has a custom
guess so.
balance. This whole map has its own custom balance values that also supports mayhem. It's you can get mayhem level gear here as well, and
Oh
the
my gosh.
difficulty goes up a little. But we don't have the modifiers going on in this map. We have a custom scaling just
Okay,
for
I
the
like
health, shield, and armor values for them here. So you still have that increased difficulty if you want to in mayhem and get mayhem level gear out of this. But it's respectful of not having the power of the skills available to you. So we feel like we found a really good balance of providing challenge, but still making it pretty accommodating to players of any skill level.
We talked a bit about it in the beginning, but like when we're have our head wrapped around it and we've been playing it for a while, how long are you anticipating like a run of this to take?
So when you're in this world, like I said, we've taken some elements of those other games, and one of them is the closing storm. There's a blizzard that's closing in on this environment. And so that kind of
Okay.
puts a time limit of think it's around 23, 25 minutes.
Boys, we got a battle royale.
And that
Borderlands.
circle
We got
is
a
going to
PvE battle
randomly move
royale.
around the map that you'll have to kind of follow along, but eventually it will always end in the center and force you into that boss fight. So like I said, average is anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. However, that boss fight is unlocked. So at any point that you feel that you've gotten the value out of the zone, or like you're done looting for this run and you just want to get out, you can totally just go down to that boss and run the boss whenever you like. So you're timed in terms of the maximum amount of time that you use in that space, but you can also make it as short as a run as you like.
Okay.
Will there be more randomized elements to the run as well? For example, will like an event happen on the map and players might have to like go do a thing, or maybe there's loot that appears in a certain section, but you have to face down some tough badass enemies in order to take them out. Is that something you guys have considered or looked at?
Yeah, so we know like this is a totally replayable environment. So like I mentioned earlier, we have these airdrops. Those will randomly show up every run in 3 different locations. So you can chase after those. They're not free. They're going to be guarded by some enemies. The combat in each of the areas. So this is a huge zone. It's probably one of our biggest zones in the game. All of those locations have randomized combat encounters. So every time you play, it could be different. There's kind of like mini twists on each encounter as well that can sometimes trigger. There's
the potential of this is crazy.
Some surprises also in the map that might chase you around. So there's a lot that happens every time you play. So every session is different.
You say it's a big map. Is there any vehicles, any fast travel, zip lines, etc.?
This is all on foot. Like I said, we're all about the gunplay here. So you'll always be on foot, and we're respectful of your time in terms of how much you're hoofing it. But I've always had this thing that from point of interest to point of interest, I should be able to walk to one and see the next one. So it's packed full of content. And Jason Reese, like I said, he was the level designer on the Revenge of the Cartels. He was also the level designer on Electra City, which I know a lot of people really enjoyed that map for its combat. So you should really look forward to a fun and varied environment. Like I said, it's back on it's back on Pandora around the time of Borderlands 2, that kind of environment. So Three Horns Valley vibe, Tundra Express. We want to kind of re-engage that part of Pandora in this content and have the combat that we love be leveled up here.
I guess, my one question would be, you talked about, going to one point of interest, finding another point of interest, or being able to see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How hard was it to come in and make this mode fun and find that balance of giving the right amount, but not too much, challenging, but not too challenging? When guns should drop, where they should drop?
So we've play tested this like a ton. And, we have all those same tools as the base game as far as hot fixes if you need to adjust feedback. But basically, we played it in single player, we played it in co-op, we played it in Mayhem, we played it in early game at level 13, we played it at level 65. It's really come down to play testing.
Some very thrilling gameplay there.
Another designer that worked on this is Mike Wardwell, who
I think he should have picked the legendary up.
Work on some of the OP levels back on Borderlands 2. And he's also been working on a lot of the buffs that we've been doing recently. And between himself and Jason and I, we think we've kind of found a really good challenge to, welcoming vibe for, like I said, the less experienced players. So I think we're in a good place. It's basically come down to combat. You have to feel it. You can't, there's no like, oh, here's the numbers, it's going to work. It's literally like, try some numbers. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try these numbers instead. Okay, that feels better. Oh, wait, there was a bug. Those numbers weren't right. All that data was bad. That happened a few times because, like I said, all this custom balance for this mode has made our testing required it to be more thorough.
Arms Race sounds great. Thank you so much for coming. Of course, what I like a lot about it is even if you, for some reason, looked at Arms Race like, not for me, you still get all the other stuff, right? New skill trees are still part of it. It's all there for you.
Yep, it's all in the designer's cut. It's all there. And like I said, the designer's cut is really about what our team of designers wanted to show, what we wanted to do with Borderlands, as opposed to a strictly narrative experience this time around.
And I've got to imagine that's pretty freeing. I think most times when I talk to game developers, right, and designers who have an idea, they have to come up with the story idea. And so for you guys to be like, you know what? Designer's cut. It's just what we want to do.
Yeah, I mean, we enjoy telling stories at Gearbox, obviously, but it's nice to make the focus of this be so much about combat and gunplay, which we've leveled up,
This is gonna
for
be so
Borderlands 3
different.
compared to the previous titles so much, and to
Sure.
really let a piece of content really speak and highlight our gunplay has been a really fun way of approaching new content.
Okay.
Well, rad. That's it for Arms Race today on the Borderlands show. But guess
All
what?
right.
It's
Well,
not over by any stretch of the imagination.
if that's it, let's discuss it like really quick. So this seems like I said, a PvE battle royale, which is actually pretty cool. It seems sort of like Tarkov or the Dark Zone from Division. You're gonna go in and loot. You have no access to skills or gardening, which is very interesting. That'll be a lot of challenge. That'll be a hard challenge for some players nowadays. But you're gonna get all these new weapons. They did confirm new class mods, which is gonna be really cool. And yeah, it's a huge map. Like there's a storm coming in. This is literally Borderlands 2's a battle royale. I actually really like this. It's really cool. It has like elements, like I said, of the other two games, and I can't wait to see how it plays in this game. November 10th is gonna be a crazy month, bro. We have this plus the Destiny 2 DLC coming out. Like, expect to see a ton of content on this channel. Be sure to subscribe because I'm gonna be trying to post like crazy. Like, I don't even know how I'm gonna cover everything, but because both looks very promising, especially this one. This looks super promising, and it's definitely not what I was expecting, but I'm super excited for what we actually got. I cannot wait to see gameplay of this. Be sure to stick around. Like I said, I'll be posting a ton of content on this, especially all the new weapons and builds. But yeah, that's what it all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Try to bait, run away, don't go. I'm in hell, might as well just go. Losing track, don't take my soul. I'm in first, you too late, you slow.